structure is the old.
It's too widespread to all the
All right, I'll call to order the Millersville Board of Commissioners regular meeting, Tuesday, January 23rd, 5:30 p.m. If everyone would please stand for the invocation and pledge.
Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for allowing us to come here tonight to conduct the business of the city. And dear Lord, help us as we make the decisions that are necessary to improve our way of life. And dear God, please help those up in Marshall County where the shooting occurred today, and bless each and every one of us. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, I think she needs an amendment for the agenda.
Yes, sir, I do need to amend the agenda, if I may. Right after this invocation and the pledge, and after we amend the agenda, we're going to show a video presentation prior to starting the regular meeting business. Number 13 on your agenda should say break for executive session with our attorney. Then when we come out of executive session, number 14, consider action on 430 Pole Hill Road. And number 15, adjournment.
Anyone want to make that motion?
I make a motion that we amend the meeting to read the regular with the attorney, and number 14, action on Pole Hill Road, 15, adjournment.
I'll second the motion.
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, the agenda's amended. I guess your presentation?
Yes, sir. I'd like to introduce you to Mr. Peter Stratton. Peter, come on up. He has been working with us for several months, putting together a video for the city of Millersville that is going to be tonight unveiled. He's put a lot of hard work in it. He's a very professional man, and it has been an absolute pleasure to work with him. We will use this video to promote our city. We're looking to maybe down the road, maybe next budget year, use him again to do a promotional video directed towards businesses specifically. For our economic development efforts. So I just wanted to introduce you to him and thank him again for what he's done. It is an amazing video. I think you're going to love it. And with that being said, who's going to press the buttons and who's going to shut the lights out?
You do the lights on, press this.
The city of Millersville, the best kept secret in Tennessee, the valley of cool waters. Nestled in the Tennessee ridges, the city of Millersville offers its diverse residents a rich quality of life that's perfect for any age, whether you want to raise your family here or retire. Millersville welcomes houses of worship of all faiths into this community. The multiple family and cultural events hosted annually provide the opportunity for residents and visitors alike to participate in our local traditions. The city is just minutes from the excitement of the downtown Music City, Nashville scene. Our state-of-the-art library offers hands-on experiences for all ages and interests. Our progressive, interactive police and fire departments not only make Millersville the 8th safest city in Tennessee, but also help build a strong community relationship through community outreach. The forward-thinking city leadership is committed to providing innovative communication options for the residents of Millersville via face-to-face or on many online platforms. Our economic development program facilitates moving your business to Millersville and makes it affordable and convenient. The city of Millersville has many locally owned small businesses, often owned by city residents themselves, as well as large corporate firms. Come and be part of the best kept secret in Tennessee, the city of
Put that online.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be great.
Thank you for your,
Thank
Thank you, guys.
I appreciate it.
So you have to.
That's it.
All right, item number 3, approval of the minutes from the 12/19/2017 regular meeting. Call for a motion.
Approval of them. I move that we approve the minutes from the December 19, 2017 regular meeting.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Item number 4, approval of the minutes from the January 2nd, 2018 special call meeting.
Move that we approve the minutes of the January the 2nd, 2018 special call meeting.
Second the motion.
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Item number 5, acceptance of the December 2017 financials. Call for motion.
Make a motion, we move the acceptance of the December 2017 financials.
I'll second it.
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Item number 6, discussion and approval of contract with OHM for the design of the addition to City Hall. Call for a motion.
Move that we approve the contract with OHM for the design of the addition to Millersville City Hall.
Second the motion.
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion?
Hold on a second. They're here to present the actual contract and let us know how much it's gonna cost and everything else.
If you'll just spare a few minutes, we can walk through
Definitely
quickly
discussion.
the scope and what we've come up with kind of after being notified that we were selected. We've come up and met with Karen and talked to several city staff members and kind of figure out how we're going to approach this thing and work within the budget and the schedule that has been outlined. You get an original.
Oh, wow.
Any difference?
No, black and white. So what we kind of talked about with Karen was the way we're going to approach getting started is coming up here and sitting down with your department heads and trying to get some input from the commission itself in terms of what we'd like to see in programming the space. And our goal is to get through site plan approval by June of 2018, get through this fiscal year. So the scope that we've presented here is for $82,500 to complete civil design and get through the survey, civil design, and architectural schematic design, which would get us to the point of an elevation, a building elevation, a footprint, and an idea of what the inside looks like, but it is not full building plans. And the thought with kind of how we got to this scope was talking through the scenario of actually when we get to construction and building the building, you guys are going to have other costs associated with moving to whatever temporary facility, whether it's the community center or temporary hospital space, whatever it is you decide that suits you. We came to the conclusion that there would be some costs associated with that you guys would be facing. So we wanted to scale back our scope to a point that would allow you some of the resources within your current budget to take care of that move management. And the way we're going to approach the architecture, I'll let John, he's going to be our lead architect on the project. I'll let John kind of walk through the initial steps and where we go from here and what this will look like over the next 5 months or so.
Our steps, just as we get started, will be basically our programming phase, where we'll come up and meet with everybody, document the existing conditions of the building, and then do a schematic package, which is basically to layer into the finished civil package. That's going to be plans, elevations, massing, similar to what you guys saw before, but a lot more detail so that we know more about what the spaces are like and all. But leaving some space and allowance for a move management group, like we had talked about, to potentially come up here and help with you guys understand inventory of furniture, inventory of what you could take to a temporary space, inventory of what we need in the new building and things like that as we move forward. So it would be a hands-on with you guys initially, and then we go back to the drawing table draw, and then we will have some dates presented in a schedule that we'll be hitting. I think 3 weeks, we had 3 weeks for schematic design, and then 6 weeks for schematic design. So
Program.
our program, 3 weeks for programming. 3 weeks for programming, 6 weeks for schematic design.
And by the time we get to June, when we have a full civil package, we'll be far enough along in architect. The civil package will be ready to go ahead and bid the site work, and you can start that if you want to go that route. And we should be far enough along with the architecture where we can start sharpening the pencil on getting to pretty good cost estimates on the building and figuring out what your all's budget is going to be and how the financing is going to work, and set so we can start really getting to that finished set of building plans that meets your needs and fits within your budget. And we'll be far enough along to get to those construction cost estimates and start weighing the options and looking at various features and cost impacts.
So within this fee, we've got some monies allocated for structural narratives and MP&E narratives for mechanical, plumbing, electrical, so that at this end of this day, the schematic package, we can take to a contractor, get some really good numbers to understand the budget and the cost of the building. And I will feel pretty comfortable with that.
Okay.
You got any idea on how the money, where we need the money from?
We're gonna have to get it financed. I will have some people here to discuss that with y'all. 2 companies that can come in and talk to y'all about what your options are. I'm not that smart. You need an actual finance person. And until I get their ballpark figure of how much it's gonna cost us to construct it, I wouldn't bring anybody in until then, personally, because they can't give us real figures.
So actually, the only thing on the table tonight is for OHM for contract with them for $82,000.
To do the design.
To do the design, and that's.
Right, and get us the site plan so that we can go to the planning commission, be approved, and a schematic of what the actual construction of the building would look like. It's not really the building plans, but it'll give us a floor plan of what it's gonna look like inside.
What we would be lacking is like the details, wall sections, things like that get it constructed. So we'll have floor plans within this package, elevations, dimensioned elevations, things the contractor can actually take and pull some numbers off of. So it's figured out, but all the detail aren't in the light fixtures aren't selected, the molding and trim aren't identified, that type of thing. It's more of a plan has been nailed down because we've gotten that approved with you guys and we'll walk through that with you guys.
But when you don't know what the final figure is, it's kind of hard to decide. I mean, we would want to spend $82,000, and then if it comes up to say whatever the price is to do it, and we don't have the money.
There was an estimated budget that the city was, a range that was presented to us that all of this has kind of been based on, in terms of adding on to this space and renovating the existing space. And we based the design scope off of the budget range that was presented to us.
Yeah, that was $100,000, correct?
Mm-hmm.
No.
No.
$100,000.
It was from
For the
1.5 to.
Oh, no,
2
no.
million.
$1.2 million project.
Yeah.
Right. We estimated the
So we're
project to cost
designing
us
to that number.
1.5.
We're trying to design to that number.
No, the $100,000 that we put aside this year was for the design.
What they're saying is there's no way to get a hard number on building a building until you know what building you're gonna build.
And we're gonna do it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like trying to build a 2,000 square foot house. There's hundreds of floor plans out there and they all will vary in cost in building them depending on how they're laid out. They're trying to keep us within that general number, that 1.5 to $2 million.
Well, I just don't want to see us spend out to the point that where we can't afford to live within our means here. That's my only problem. I mean, the citizens are the ones ultimately going to pay for it.
And I think the thinking was the debt service for the community center is due to be paid off in 2 or 3 years. If you use the same numbers as what the community center was, it would basically be continuing paying what we're paying now. There would be no additional debt to the city. It'd be basically exactly what we're paying now.
That's all I got.
Is that all y'all have?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Anybody have any questions, any more discussion? Well, hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Item number 7, approval of resolution 17-R-18, classification and compensation plan for the city. Call for a motion.
Move that we approve Resolution 17-R-18 classification and compensation plan for the city.
I'll second that motion.
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion
I thought this was going to be tabled for the next work session.
It was tabled to the next
to
meeting.
the next meeting?
Mr. Mayor, I actually thought also it was going to be taken for the next work session, but in looking it over, I think it meets all the criteria that you had asked about. It's been corrected, is that correct?
As far as I'm concerned, it has. I mean, I read through it and compared it to the other one, and it answered all the questions I had.
I think it has to, in looking at it myself, I believe it answers all the questions that you brought up at the last work session, and it clarifies and
So, I mean, it's up to y'all. I mean, we can do whatever y'all want to do.
The only other addition that I did was in the actual resolution, I added that it is the desire to bring all employees up to the minimum pay range within 2 years, as long as revenues allow. So if the revenues aren't there, we can't do it. You know what I'm saying?
That's what you was concerned
Yeah,
about.
that answered that question.
Yeah,
Also,
so I just wanted to point that out.
the training and experience portion answers the mayor's questions, and I guess it allows for consideration of post-high school education with 2 or more additional years of related work experience. Well, you have most of it. I'm satisfied with that.
Did anyone get a chance to look at what I passed out last time?
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, I'd like to add one more to it. This is from Greenbrier right here. And we're probably about as equal to Greenbrier as any other city anywhere close to us. When that survey come out that you used to get the numbers from was used for all over the state of Tennessee, which every city is different on what revenue they have coming in and population-wise. Greenbrier population as of 2016 was 6,796. Millersville population as of 2016 is 6,742. That's about as close to population as you're going to get between 2 cities. And if you look at the businesses and revenues that the city of Greenbrier comes in versus the city of Millersville does, there's no comparison in that part right there. There's a lot more restaurants and businesses and all in the city of Greenbrier than it is Millersville. And like I said, out of all of them that I looked at, this one right here is about as equal to all of them, to us as any of them are. And we're nowhere near their numbers. Or they're nowhere near our numbers, let's put it that way. And I'd like everybody to consider all that right there before they make their decision. Because I took the time to go out in these other cities and do my survey and do my job to make sure we're getting the best possible for our citizens. That's all I got. The only change I've seen on the new one that you give out was Holly's, correct? Okay.
So, where are we not in line with these?
Just pick any of them out, it don't matter.
Let's take the police chief.
All right. All right, so police chief in Millersville, in Greenbrier over there is 39,000
To 58,000,
to 58,000. But that's their middle, that's where they're at now.
but their maximum is 58,000.
Yes.
That's more than what our maximum is. It's more than what our police chief makes now.
On ours right now, as a police chief, he is now making 53 current.
Again, that's what I'm saying. This doesn't say what Greenbrier's police chief makes. It just tells you what range they can pay him.
This is their pay range.
Yeah, they can be paying in 58 or they can be paying in 39.
That's right. We could be paying in 62, or we could be paying 77. So we're paying current 62. I mean, this is what their proposal for their next meeting, for their next budget, I guess, or whatever. This is starting pay range to pay and not top out pay for each of them.
Do you know if they ever had a study done professionally, or if this is
I have
just
no
something
idea.
that they came up with?
I just done a study of my own. I'm not a professional
No, I know.
as far as that goes. But I do know that I did get the figures, and I took the time out to do this right here. So, that's all I can do as a commissioner, is just get my numbers out, what I feel like it is, and do that.
But that's what I'm asking. How can you compare what our police chief makes to what Greenbrier's police chief makes if you don't know what Greenbrier's police chief makes?
Well, I don't, I didn't ask for that, they just give me the pay range, is what I asked for.
And that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
You said ours are higher, but ours are not higher. Theirs are
When
higher.
it comes down to wastewater, theirs is higher than ours, as far as the base is concerned. The police officers only make $14 an hour.
But just like, well, like your clerk right there, your, clerk one, that'd be, you can call her a court clerk or utility clerk.
That's higher than our minimum.
Yeah. They're not higher.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, they are.
How can they be?
Our minimum
Ours
is, our minimum is $15.12 an hour.
You're looking at the lowest number on your sheet and the
Okay,
highest
well,
number on this
let's look at
sheet.
the highest number then. Over here's 31 right here for their highest. Okay, and right now, ours right now is at 31. So we're already maxed with them already right there,
What are you looking at, Milton?
right there. That's clerk one right here.
Oh, you're looking at that.
Yeah,
Well, I don't know what kind of clerk that is.
I don't know what kind of clerk it is either, just this clerk. Just like they got a meter reader over there, we don't have a meter reader. Our clerk actually reads the meters, takes the numbers off of it, send out the pay for the sewer.
We don't have a clerk that reads the meters, because we don't have a water system.
I understand, but we have a clerk that takes the numbers off of what the city of White House gives us and makes the bills out. Correct?
Well, I think the water company provides those. yeah.
The administrative assistant is exactly the same as ours, by a penny, which would be the tax clerk, but she's considered a receptionist. And again, these numbers, I don't remember if, I still have it with me, if Greenbrier was one of those cities that they looked at or not. I can't speak to that because I don't have it in front of me.
Yeah, and even this little thing here in the yellow at the end, this is if they start. This is if they start tomorrow. That's the pay ranges they use to start. If they've been there for 20 years, they may be well above these numbers.
Their codes official is higher, no, 96-cent difference.
Well, I mean, this yellow line says this is the starting range of pay and not top-out pay for each level. That means they're gonna start them somewhere between this number and this
That
number.
Yep.
Their top-out pay may be well above this top number over here.
It can't be.
Yes, it can. This is a starting pay range, not a pay range for employees that's been there for 20 years. I mean, I'm going by what the page says right here. It says, this is the starting range of pay and not top-out pay for each level. That's what it says, right there in yellow.
And that's for the top out pay, that's for the pay ranges. That's what we're voting on, the pay ranges here. We're not voting on top pay, we're voting on the pay ranges. We're not voting on minimum top, we're voting on pay ranges.
I agree 100%. We're voting
Okay.
on pay ranges. What?
Our step
Wait a minute,
one
wait
pay
just a
range
minute.
is right here, correct?
We're voting on a range of pay that we can pay them this much to this much.
Okay.
That's not what this is.
Okay. Well, what
This is a starting pay range.
Okay.
So they may pay more than what their top number is. We won't.
It don't say on ours exactly what ours is making either.
It
All the
doesn't, it
current.
doesn't have
It
to.
does on the end right here, it's the only thing, is our current. Well, that's the study I done. Y'all can decide on how y'all want to do it, how y'all want to vote. I'm only one vote, that's all I can vote.
Perhaps
Under the circumstances and the fact that Commissioner Coleman's not here tonight, maybe we should move this to a work session and go over some of these numbers again.
It's fine with me.
Because I
But
believe.
what I'm based on is their population, Greenbrier's population versus our population is about as close as you can get in the city.
What-
But if anyone wants to ride, take the time to go through Greenbrier and check out what all they have over there in their retail sales and everything they have over here, and then take it to ours, there's no comparison.
Commissioner Doris, do you happen to know what their revenue is?
No, sir, I have no idea what revenue is.
I'd be interested in knowing.
Well, I can try to get that information too, but I mean, I'm pretty sure their revenue will probably be more than ours. Just for the fact of all the retail sales they have over there. I mean, they have a lot of restaurants, Pizza Hut, Sonic. So, that's all I got.
Commissioner Doris, when was it, you gave us your first,
I didn't have Greenbriers at the time. I didn't get it, we had our meeting on, I think it's Tuesday night. I didn't get this information from Greenbrier till Friday.
that information you gave us the evening after the special meeting on January the 2nd, is that when it was given to us?
Yes.
Yeah,
Mhm.
okay, all right.
That was the one I give you in that folder right there.
Right.
And the only one I didn't have at the time was Greenbrier, and I didn't get it until like Thursday or Friday.
That
When I
was
picked it up.
at the end of our work session.
Yeah.
I'd feel more comfortable if we carried this over to another work session, just so that we can discuss what Commissioner Doris has brought up. As I said before, with what.
Well, yeah, I feel, anyone can go get the same information I got. I mean, I took the time out to go do it, because I want all the citizens to get a fair thing about it. And I feel like if we can't give the citizens what's fair, we don't need to give it to them. And that's what we're up here for. We're up here for the citizens.
I agree.
That's all I've got. But if you want to table it, I mean, that's fine with me, either one, either way you want to do it. I mean, we need to vote on it or table it, that's up to y'all.
Anything further?
Yes, brother.
All right. All those in favor, please say aye.
All right.
Those opposed?
Nate?
Motion carries by a vote of 3-1. Item number 8, discussion related to take-home vehicle policy.
Sir, you asked me to put this on the agenda.
I did. I've had the police chief as well as, I guess you would call it the assistant police chief or second in command, as well as the fire chief and the assistant fire chief had brought something to my attention. They're pretty much on call 24/7. If there's something bad going on, they come out. It doesn't matter whether they're working their shift or whether they're at home in bed or whatever the case may be. And one of the things that was pointed out is the fact that with the policy that we have, they cannot take the police chief, for instance, when he was at the meeting the other night, as soon as the meeting was over, he had a lodge meeting to go to that is in White House. Under our current policy, he would have to take his police vehicle home, get in his personal vehicle, and go to the lodge meeting in White House. Then if there was a wreck on the interstate, he would get in his personal vehicle, come back down the interstate, get off the interstate, go to his house, get his police vehicle, and come back to the interstate. To me, that doesn't make a lot of sense. If they're on call 24/7, within reason, they should be in their vehicle that they respond in. And they just wanted the commission to either say yes or no to that. So I asked Karen to put it on the agenda.
What's our, seemed like we set it up when Ronnie Williams was here. police chief, 10 miles, is that correct? Correct.
Well, that's.
We
the-
not
that's-
changed since
that's-
then?
That's the take-home vehicle.
Yeah.
This is something different, like if, I don't know, let's say, one of them was, on Saturday, they're at home and they need to run to White House. Question is, do they take their police vehicle or fire vehicle, or do they take their personal car? Keeping in mind, if they get a call while they're out, they're on call. So should they be in a city vehicle or should they be in a personal vehicle?
Yeah, it's my thoughts are that if they're going to White House for personal reasons, that they should operate their personal vehicle. And if they're going to White House for business reasons, city business reasons, then they are to drive their city vehicle. But if they're in White House on personal business and they get a call, they're gonna have to make a choice to drive their personal vehicle or to go home first. You know, the
And
severity of
that's the question. You know, there's certain members of the police department, certain members of the fire department that are pretty much on call 24/7. If, take Mark for instance, he lives in the city. If he's at home on a Saturday on his off day and his wife is working at Station 5, he wants to ride up and eat lunch with her, does he take his personal vehicle or does he take the city vehicle?
Knowing that there could be a call that
He
comes in
takes
at
his
any
personal
minute.
vehicle.
So if he's there and a call comes out, even though he's never left the city, he should have to go back home and get his police vehicle to respond.
Or he can drive his personal vehicle. In my former job, I was on call 24/7 throughout the state of Tennessee. And my state vehicle stayed parked up on my driveway. Even when there were times when I would be out and I would get a call and I'd have to run back to Nashville, I'd run back to Nashville in my personal vehicle. Now admittedly, if I used my personal vehicle for business purposes and could document it, I was compensated for that travel time at whatever the IRS approved rate was at the time. I don't have a problem with that, and in fact, I was compensated when I've had to use my personal vehicle because I was out away from somewhere and got a call. And would go to Nashville, and one time went to Knoxville. And it just so happened that, you know, I was up in Gatlinburg and I had to go to Knoxville. I was in my personal vehicle in Gatlinburg. And so the distance from Gatlinburg to Knoxville, where I had to report to, that was paid for, and back to where I was staying in Gatlinburg. I can agree to that, but I can't agree to taking your personal vehicle or your city vehicle on personal errands.
Okay. Well, I mean, it was just something that was asked from, if I would put it on their agenda and ask the board what their opinion was.
Those are my thoughts.
And, you know, it's hard for the police chief or the fire chief or either one of the assistants to respond in their personal vehicle if the call's on the interstate.
I agree.
Mainly because Holly and myself have signed a piece of paper saying there won't be any unlit vehicles on that interstate, unmarked vehicles.
Aside from the fact that all of the equipment that's necessary is on their actual city vehicles. So they would have to
My
come
state
back.
vehicle had all the equipment on there. My state vehicle was a law enforcement vehicle with weapons inside of it and everything else. But nevertheless, if it was necessary for my vehicle to be at the location, I would go back home and get my vehicle. However, normally, I was the second or third person to show up there. My agents were there long before I was there.
And
They're the ones that's giving me the call.
I would agree that in a state situation, that's probably how it's gonna work, but there's a lot of times that in a small city, sometimes the chief or the assistant chief, especially on the fire department side, they may be the only two around that's gonna respond to start with anyway. And to me, for them to have to drive back to get their vehicle when they're on call anyway, it just seems like it's wasting a little time, but, you know, that's just the way I see it.
Where did this come from? It had to come somewhere. Who
From the
wants
police
it?
department and fire department.
So we're talking about just maybe 2 people here,
Four.
or maybe 3 or 4 people here. And that would be the chief, assistant chief, fire chief, assistant fire chief. Those 4 people right there, that's the question tonight,
Yeah.
is for those guys.
Yeah, and I don't think they're asking to drive their vehicle to Nashville, but if they're within 3 or 4 miles, you know, I would say, to me, it makes more sense for them to be in their responding vehicle that has all of the equipment in it if they're on call. Now, if they're going to Gatlinburg for the weekend, well, it don't make any sense. But if it's within 3 or 4 miles of the city, to me, it does make sense.
Well, most of the officers are driving their patrol cars home anyway, correct?
Some of them,
How many, do you know exactly how many
I do not.
police officers?
I don't know.
And if they have an accident, it's their fault, so what happens then?
We've got insurance.
You mean for non-call or just personal use, like?
To go home, going home.
They want, it's still.
We had one officer went home,
Still following
left the
around.
city and went home, fell asleep and hit a tree and towed the car out. So that cost our citizens $35,000. So
It didn't cost our citizens $35,000.
we had to buy a new car.
The insurance bought them the car.
Okay, well, we're still having to pay insurance premiums. And we
Exactly.
had
So
to pay
whatever,
$1,000 deductible.
whatever the premiums was is what it cost our citizens, not what the cost of the car was. I don't know. They just asked that it be clarified.
Well, I do know, I won't say this, I know Mark, and I do know he does come out at all different hours because I see him. I mean, I can visually see him. And also the other 4-wheel drive truck, whoever drives it, I see them quite often too. You know, that's the ones that I see more because they stick out more. And like I said, I do know Mark, as many times he comes out Bethel Road, he travels that pretty regularly.
We're talking about 3 of the people that we're talking about lives inside the city. Dustin doesn't, he lives in White House. So, I mean, he drives his vehicle home anyway. So, I don't, to be honest with you, I don't think he would be using his vehicle hardly at all. But the others, if, just going, simply going to eat somewhere. You know, if Mark lives on Bethel Road, if he decides to go up to White House, him and his wife to have supper, they go in their personal car, and there's a real bad wreck on the interstate, he has one choice. He can come back down the interstate, get off the interstate, fight the traffic getting off, go back to his house and get his vehicle and then respond. Same thing with the fire department. And like I said before, there's always policemen in this city. But there's not always that many firemen around here.
I could see the fire department or the fire chief. I could agree more under our special circumstances that the fire chief and the way our fire department is set up with a lot of volunteers, that it would be necessary for him, but the police department, I have some reservations.
Okay. Well, like I said, they just asked that they put on there and discussed. I mean, we don't have to take any action on it. We
Our fire chief has always drove the car home, I mean, they home.
ain't about driving.
I don't know, I'm talking about using them.
No, he can drive it home. He can't use it. We're talking about if the fire chief drove his truck home and on Saturday he was going to White House to eat dinner, should he be able to drive the city vehicle to go eat dinner, being though he's on call? That's the question, not whether he can drive it home. Like I said, we can just put it on the next work session, talk about it, and go from there. All right, item number 9, discussion related to second surgery for the city manager.
February 9th, I'm having my second knee replaced. If everything goes as well as the first one did. This time I've got 3 weeks of vacation time, so those first 3 weeks will be covered. So I'm just asking tonight because the surgery is coming up. If I am able to, and if the doctor allows me to, if I need to, for 2 weeks, if I can work from home, like I did last time.
Well, I'm glad you're getting it done now, before budget time.
You and me both. That's why I wanted it done as soon as possible.
I have no problem with it. I just, as long as the doctor says you're fine, if you're working on
I plan to work on
budget stuff, I have no problem with it at all.
Didn't we already set the criteria?
Basically, we did.
Yeah, it has to come before this board every time.
Yeah, that was it.
But did you consider for other employees also?
It has to
No.
come before this board every
Yeah,
time.
it's just me.
The criteria for other employees, would it be?
I would have to bring it to you guys.
That goes to us too.
I have no problem. So,
I don't either.
I think it needs on the work session so that Commissioner Coleman can be a part of it. If it goes as smoothly as it did last time.
February 9th,
just put it in the work session.
okay, on a special meeting afterwards, because you can't vote at the work session.
I don't know that we need a vote, do we?
To allow her 2 weeks. That's what was before, but that only pertained to before.
Correct.
Yeah, you want to go.
Yeah, include work, special call meeting after. When is the work session? You know what date that is?
No. It is the 5th.
February 5th.
All right, item number 10, citizens' comments. Anybody? Yes, ma'am.
I have one, Deborah Chadwick, 2253 Gideon Road. I know there was a big snafu last week with the trash, and I know I called up here 3 times. I know my neighbors called up here. So the 4th time I called, I thought I would ask to speak with Ms. Miller. So I did speak with her, was told about when our trash was coming. I would just like, it was finally picked up at 3:30 on Saturday. Our trash day was Tuesday. So our cans sat out on the road all week, which is not a real good thing to have your trash cans sitting out. If people want to know anything about you, they can get it from your trash. So I'm a nervous Nelly about the trash can sitting out on the road. I was told one time by the police department, don't leave your trash can out overnight. But then you run the risk that if you don't leave it out overnight, you're gonna miss the trash people the next morning. Because if you're used to seeing them at 11, that next morning, they're coming at 7:30. Just because your can isn't there. So that's just how Murphy's Law works. So, the only thing my question is for tonight is if a little more information could be updated on the website. And if the holidays for the trash could be put on the website under trash and notices, really up-to-date, real-time notices on the website. It would stop a lot of calls coming in to City Hall, I think, and taking people away from their work just because people like me want to complain about the trash not being picked up. There's just more serious things going on than our trash. So just if more information could be put out there, somebody really get on that website and update it, we'd know what's going on. Because we did leave our can out, but our neighbors put their can away. So guess what? They didn't get picked up. They had a lot of rubbish in their can for today's pickup. So that's my only thing. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Anybody else?
Larry Petty, 105 Echo Lane. I have a couple of questions. Well, one question and a comment or two. First one is, does the city know that John Reynolds highway sign is down at the south end of the city?
I know.
Like
it's there.
somebody that took it out during the snowstorm.
Okay, I didn't know that, but we can call T-Dot.
Yeah, that is a state sign. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought-
If you don't believe me, go ask
Hold on.
Ernest Jones. He'll explain that one.
And another little comment I have is about the people's pay. I mean, we want the best we can get of what we pay for, and we seem like we're getting it in our budget. But I ain't calling no names, but you just seem like you worry about what our employees get paid, and as long as we can afford it. What difference does it make if we can afford to pay them $75 an hour versus $13 an hour? What difference would it make? You know? And if you can't, then don't pay them $13 an hour. But it seems like we've got a budget that we can pay them at least the minimum starting of everything. And I don't care what Greenbrier, White House, Nashville, Gatlinburg, or the White House up there in D.C. pays. It's what we can pay. But they live off the same price of bread that you folks do, because every one of us the same for a loaf of bread, no matter what we make. And that's my only comment on that, you know. Okay?
Anyone else? All right. Commissioners' comments and other board reports.
Well, to address your question, I feel the same way. The only problem is when you go to these other cities and they've got some extra revenue coming in, and even if they're paying for the same thing, they've got a lot more revenue to pay with. It's the difference if you're going over here buying a new car and paying $100,000 for it and paying $20,000 for it. If your money that you got can make you pay $100,000, you're still going to buy the one that's $20,000. You're not going to pay for something more than what you're not getting. And I just based all my study on the population and the amount of business that the city's had in it. And I felt Greenbrier was about equal to us as anybody around us. Millersville, you go to Millersville, you're talking about people going to eat. They go to Millersville to eat. There's only 2 restaurants in Millersville. That's it. I ate in Greenbrier today. I've eaten Greenbrier over the last couple of weeks about 3 times. It's more selection over there. Same as Millersville. You go down Long Hollow Pike, you got more restaurants along Hollow Pike than we've had. We'll probably be years to get. So that's the only thing I got. I mean, I want everybody to make a good living, but the point being is, just like when you worked over at Academy Sports over there, if I could go to Cabela's and buy the exact same thing for $2 less, and they're selling it, and eventually they're not going to sell it over here, so they're going to cut somewhere. So, and I'm sure Cabela's don't pay their employees exactly the same thing Academy Sports does, and both of them do the same thing. But other than that, I would like to say thanks for the salting of the roads. I think they done an excellent job. I know we have a problem with the salt truck again. It's broke down. And I do appreciate the fixing of the potholes. I do appreciate that. I think they done a good job on all the winter, right here, this snow and ice that we had. And I feel like we're going to get us a salt truck, looks like. That's all I've got.
I'd like to commend Public Works also. They did a good job on all the ice and snow. I appreciate what they did. And actually, I was surprised that they were able to accomplish as much as they did accomplish. And so I do commend them for them and the city manager for helping see that it did get taken care of. In regards to trash, I didn't even send my trash out because of the ice and snow out there Tuesday and Wednesday, so I wasn't expecting anybody to pick it up, so they're picking it up tomorrow, so that's all I got.
That was good. I'd like to thank Public Works as well on Ridgecrest. I don't know, there's only about 4 or 5 of us houses up on that road, but we had a pretty good indent in our asphalt. And they was pouring up on North Cartwright, they had overboard or leftover asphalt. And so that was really nice that they, Public Works said, we got asphalt we don't need. Let's don't throw it away, let's put it on the bad place on Ridgecrest. And they did. So I thank Jerry and all of them for doing that, and also for taking care of our roads. Even though I got a 4-wheel drive, I still like to ride on clean roads. Makes it a little nicer. That's all.
City manager comment.
Just a reminder, Saturday is the, this year's goal setting session that will be taking place here at City Hall. I have donuts in the morning, so make sure you come in earlier and get your cup of coffee and a donut, and let's get ready to rock and roll for the next year's goals. No, it's here at the community center's room. That, and I have an ECC meeting tomorrow, and I will be reporting to y'all about what the findings are there. We've got some issues, and hopefully they'll get ironed out.
Is that it? All right, we're gonna take a break for an executive session. Are we doing that here, or are we doing it back there?
If you guys want to go in my office, you can go in my office. I'll give you the
I think that'd be easier, because some of these they might want to stay. So we'll be recessed for a few minutes. We need anything, Rob? Just us?
See us.
You need one?
I was gonna give one to Mr. Wheeler. You done with it?
Yeah, that's fine, yeah.
Thank you, Milton. Appreciate that.
I need one, she's got one.
Yeah, I know you.
What they do, leave you toting the bag?
Yes, sir.
You're all right.
We're good, we're good.
No, Jill texted me, I'll figure it out. You know, like, what do you want me to do? You need to talk to your coach. You know, I said, I can't help you. You know, I mean, I know that his power is administrative official, so you might have to go there, but I don't know. Right.